Human Benchmark's verbal memory test is one of the simplest challenges on the internet. A word appears on screen, you decide if you've seen it before. If you're right, you continue. If you're wrong, the run ends. For most people, the challenge ends quickly, but for a small group of players, this simple test became something much bigger. Players would find new strategies, argue over the rules, and push the game far beyond what anyone originally expected. Unlike most competitive games, verbal memory has almost no mechanical barrier. There are no complicated inputs, no movement, no advanced techniques. The only thing being tested is memory. And as the number of words increases, the difficulty grows exponentially. This is the world record history of verbal memory. In early 2022, there was no established competitive scene, no accepted strategies, no standard for recording runs, just players trying to see how far they could go. To understand the history of verbal memory, the best way is to look at the record progression. Every world record would become a single point, and every line between those points would tell the story of how the game has evolved. The first recorded milestone belonged to Will. Today, a score of 14 might not look impressive.
Righto. I'm gonna open this up. Don't know what it is. Right. Ooh. This is gonna. No. Ooh. Okay. Don't know. Don't remember. Oh, this is gonna kill me. Pretty sure I have that one. Oh no. No. What?
There was no competitive scene yet. Will wasn't chasing a community record. He was simply one of the first players to ask how far the game could actually go. But that would change quickly. The first major breakthrough came later that year. Tyler's score didn't just improve the record, it completely changed what players thought was possible. The jump was enormous. A record that had started at 14 was suddenly 5 times higher. At the time, recording submissions was not yet the standard, but as scores started getting higher, players wanted more than just a screenshot. The controversy would follow Tyler's record forever. But whether everyone was convinced or not, one thing was undeniable. Verbal memory had changed. And the next generation of players were already watching. Tyler's record changed the direction of verbal memory. The question was no longer whether the game could be pushed further. Now the question was who would be the next person to do it. The next player to take the record was Leo. But unlike Tyler, who had created a breakthrough with a massive jump, Leo's rise looked effortless. Leo approached the game differently. There was no obvious complicated method, no long pauses, just confidence. For a while, it seemed like raw talent might be the answer. But the next era of verbal memory would not be decided by talent alone. Igor became one of the most important players in the verbal memory landscape. Not because every run succeeded, but because almost every run could have. Igor's problem was never reaching the record pace. It was finishing.
probably seen it. Okay. Fuck, why'd I click? Oh, I knew I hadn't seen that one. Alright.
The joke became that Igor was always one mistake away. But those attempts were important because they showed the record was fast approaching a limit. While Igor was searching for the perfect run, Noah took a different approach. He simply played. Noah's record was not a breakthrough like Tyler's. It was something much harder. Consistency. But Noah would not hold the record alone for long. Jones has entered the race.
Hello, this will be my first and only attempt for this verbal memory test. Try and get it over with quickly. I'll give it my best shot in the spirit of gay rankings. We'll see how we go. Cool.
Jones had a perfect run going, but the pressure from Noah's record was just too much for him to handle.
No! Okay. Well, hang on. I got a message. Not interesting. I think I'll be happy with 100 here. Oh, might not even get there.
Miss
Oh, shit.
after miss, he choked. He choked the world record right at the end.
Well, 93, sure. See how that goes. Can't be bothered doing that again, so see you then. See you, hopefully, top 3, hopefully.
By this point, verbal memory had entered a completely different phase. The huge jumps were gone. The next improvement would not come from discovering that the game could go further. Everyone already knew it could. The problem was whether anyone could actually break through the barrier. By 2025, the history of verbal memory had changed. The early days of huge breakthroughs were over. Every new record was harder to achieve. A single mistake could have erased hours of progress. After months and months of close calls, Igor finally had the run he was searching for.
And take 1. Take 2. We get 2 attempts, I think. If not, take that one. Fuck. Oh, which way did I see just then? Now, let's go. Oh, fuck.
Igor was down to just 1 life.
Oh.
Igor has just beaten the world record again, but can he beat the infamous 100-point barrier? There was no obvious trick, no major change in strategy, just a player finally putting everything together. After 4 years of progression, the record had finally reached what many thought was the natural limit.
Fuck, I thought I saw discovered. Alright, no, I don't know. 2 attempts, 99 if I'm allowed the second one. See you.
A strange thing happened after 99. The graph stopped moving. Players were no longer making breakthroughs. They were fighting for single points. And with the record seemingly solved, the community began debating a different question. Is it even possible? Some players believed the next step was better practice. Others believed the problem itself needed to be approached differently. One player was already experimenting with a different approach. One player wasn't trying to beat 99. He was trying to understand why 99 existed. The idea was simple. The limit wasn't memory. The limit was the way people were using it. At first, the idea didn't seem revolutionary. Players had tried countless strategies before. Different pacing, different ways of grouping words, different ways of practicing. But Pater wasn't trying to remember more words. He was trying to make every word impossible to forget. The biggest criticism was simple. Is this still verbal memory? The debate wasn't whether the method worked. The question was whether it belonged. Then in July of 2026, Pater uploaded this run. Oh my god. It's gonna be so hard. Unlink. Unlink like the router. Graphics card. Computer has my graphics card. Easy. Flaunter. Fish. Flaunter. Like the Pokemon. Pokemon fish. Unlink. Like my router. Flaunter. Like the Pokemon fish. Proctorship. Ship up my butthole. Unlink like my router. Unwillingly. Also like my butthole. Graphics like my computer. Matriculating. Americans could never. Matriculating. Graphics like my computer. Flaunter like a fish. Americans could never. Fish. Computer. Router. Ship up my butt. Missiles. Americans can and do. They love it. The best. Up my butt. Clinker. You filthy fucking clinker. This is Slay the Spire reference. When you go back down into multiplayer, you de-ascensions. Opener. You know that one. Yeah, that's a gimme. Jumbo's Balatro reference. A triode? That's gonna be some kind of relay. I've never heard of a triode before. Modally. Further mathematics. Operators. 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 Listen here, you fucking clinker. The widow, so you're widowing. Punches, face of the mole is Jones. Call out. Degrader. This is the people that fix our roads with like a fucking pick and shovel. Winkling. Pilotages. So we could go like first episode of Futurama, and we will. What? What? I got one wrong, Molly.
Oh.
You get 3 lives though.
Okay, keep going.
I'll keep going, yeah. Raffle. Molly won an iPad mini in a raffle.
No, just a normal iPad.
You're lying to me now.
I won one.
Yeah.
Just normal iPad. 16 gig. Shit. Sold it.
Anyway. Mimeo. That's Balatro reference. Seaworthy. Gengar. I wish I was any good at this. Buck. Oh no. I think they've shown me Bucko. And now they're showing me Buck. I can't do that. That is evil. Evil. Overpass assist. Go reference. You cannot be saying that. You just like I'm gonna have to blur that. It's just a Balatro reference. What the fuck? So many Balatro references. Clash Royale reference. Adversaries, I have none. I'm a lone wolf. Repression? No! Memorialist. Gallipoli. Saddlebag. It's a pig in Minecraft. E-tag. Seen that. Intel. Processor. This is corporate reality, isn't it? Bing bong. Time's up. I've not done fair long. I've done fair low. Fuck! For 4 years, every record followed the same pattern. Every improvement was measured in points. Every breakthrough was still close to the last. But Pater's run did something nobody expected. The problem wasn't that the record was higher. The problem was that the graph was no longer built for it. The previous record had stood at 99. Pater had beaten it by 753 points. For years, verbal memory was just a test of remembering words. Then, someone found a way to remember something else.